Hi, very good morning. It's Gene from Avstar. Just had a very delightful, quick conversation with a friend of ours on the YouTube channel, Robert Watkins. You might see him down there in the description as David Watkins. But, he said, Gene, have a look at the national grid and what they're putting out in terms of energy. And this must be an absolutely slap on both sides of the face for Keir Starmer and whoever is advising him on his green policies, because look, we are generating with solar, wind and hydroelastic methods of producing electricity, a grand total of 6.1%. The demand, okay, let's just go through it. So solar is producing 0.20 gigawatts, wind 1.34 gigawatts, and hydroelastic 0.6%. But the demand is 34.8 gigawatts. And you can see that big brown ring there that shows you in that pie chart just how much fossil fuels are being burned, coal and gas. And that is why we shouldn't come off it. And I want to say something to these fools in government. I know you're not accustomed to listening to intelligent people, but let me educate you on something in history. It was the fact that we learned how to produce energy using, coal and gas, mainly coal back in the Industrial Revolution, but it was those fuels that made us the industrial revolutionists of this earth. England were the leaders in that. And you have turned it off and said we've all got to use, green renewable fuels. And you've shut down steel plants and manufacturers. And what are you doing now? You're attacking the national insurance of people that have got a job, which are not going to have a job in the next coming few weeks. What a shambles of a government. And governments previous to this, it's not just Labour Party, it's the Conservatives as well. What a shambles in a letdown of failure of the ability to realise just simple concepts like, if a country can produce energy freely and cheaply, they can, dominate this world. Shall I give you, for instance? Well, China don't give too much for the green policies at the moment, and they are opening up a new coal power plant every single month, and they are thriving. Everything you buy almost is coming from China, and yet we are attacking the farms, the energy suppliers, the businesses of our country. And it's been done absolutely purposely. Yet they seem to just, overlook the fact that these are the things that a prosperous country needs to rely on. Think about that. England is done. If you're living in the UK at the moment, the only reason why you can't afford to move right now is because you've got no money. Just like me. You know what? I've got a plan, 3-year plan. As soon as I've completed those 3 years, I am out of here, because the policies absolutely go against, somebody that wants to be successful in this country. So I'm out of here. 3 years, I'm looking at these second and first world countries in Asia. And, Malaysia is a very hot location, I think, right now for Brits that have got the money to go out there, relocate and get themselves into work over there, or retire even. Why not? Great food, up-and-coming country, their capital is thriving. There is plenty of development taking place. It's booming. England is collapsing. The problem is with England, we've got a lot of real estate. It costs a fortune. You know what? If ever, Russia did, aggressively attack the UK and hit London, it would wipe it out. And I guarantee you now, the buildings that would replace the buildings that are there now, which are, we can't replace them now. With the cost of living increase and inflation, London is probably one of the most expensive real estates on this planet and could never be replaced. The labour, you could never pay someone to do that work at that quality, for, a reasonable amount of money. It would cost an absolute fortune because the skills that are required are demanding higher rates of hourly work. That's just a simple thing. You know what? We're talking trillions and trillions of pounds worth of real estate that can never be replaced in London. So if it was, hit with a nuclear missile by Russia, and let's face it, have we never been, we passed, the Cuban Missile Crisis level of event. We're in a new event which is much higher up the scale as that, and that's a reality. Look at today. Today is a very interesting day. There is the American elections taking place, and I asked a friend this morning, who do you think is going to win, Trump or Kamala Harris? Who do you think? I said, I would like Trump to win, but I've got this horrible feeling that Kamala's going to win. Things are going absolutely down the drain. If Kamala Harris wins, then you expect nothing more than what you've seen, because Kamala is the second in command in the United States. She's the, her job is the second. Something happens, like Biden pops his clogs tomorrow, Kamala's there. And I think if we have seen what's happened in the last year and judge on that, if Kamala comes in place, we'll just see another year like that. And I think what they've done over in the Middle East is just kick a hornet's nest, so that if Trump does get in today, what he's going to inherit is a shitty situation, just like he experienced, almost at the end of his term with the COVID virus from China. I can talk about lots of things, guys. I can talk about the pole shift, which we'll be doing in a couple of days. I can talk about the anomalies that are taking place with our planet, which I will be doing in a couple of days. But right now, look at this. How many attempts on Trump's life has happened? How much corruption in global governance around the world, not just the United States, is taking place right now? Nothing is changing. So we're all sitting here hoping for the best, hoping for something better to come along. But what we are really is a wife that is living with an alcoholic and very abusive natured man. And the only way that we are going to, probably save our lives is get the hell out of Dodge. And that's what needs to happen. I mean, what we're looking at here on the National Grid live, is a representation of what you'll see in other countries. Look at Spain at the moment. Listen to the people, what they're saying about what the government allowed to happen, with the floods. Are you telling me that they couldn't, forecast that was going to happen when they saw the jet streams colliding with each other? We could have a 24-hour watch on this website. Easy. You just fund me enough, I'll pay someone to sit there, I'll show them what exactly happens when a polar jet stream comes into contact with a subtropical jet stream, and we'll predict these things 24 hours before they happen. You think they can't do that? What we've got is a lot of people being paid a lot of money that shouldn't have never been in their jobs in the first place. And that's why other people are, copping out the brunt of this. That's why they have to pay the price. When the house is, while they were sleeping at night, suddenly overtaken by torrents of flood water that washed out the foundations, that brought the house down. On top of that, okay, these things should be concerning you. Look what's going to happen in the next few days with Iran. Look what's going to happen there. We are probably minutes on the back of a rabbit's foot. Sometimes, I think to myself, maybe it's better you promote TikTok videos or other things like Instagram, X, and talk about other subjects, because I don't know if you've noticed this, that if you ever look on any of the TikTok or Instagram or other videos on YouTube, for instance, you'll see that there's a very small amount of people that actually have, a brain and can work out, very simple things. But then there is a larger population that don't have a brain and that support, the actual wrong things in life. They don't know how to be part of a society. And, it's always the case that, the few are carrying the weight of the many. And we're at a point where, enough is enough. And people are starting to say, we're not going to deal with this anymore. Let it go to the wall. If that happens tomorrow, well, there will be no food in your local supermarket, and it's likely you won't have any electric on in your house, and you won't have water to drink. And you'll be saying to yourself, how did this happen in a first world country that you live in the West? Well, it happened because whilst you was on the watch, what did you do? And to prove a point, link down there in the description. You know what? You don't know the extent of what we do on this YouTube channel and how much we inform people, but are you a supporter? Well, we'll see. Today I will note and I will tell tomorrow in a video exactly how much support we've got. So let's see. How many people out there are the doers, and how many people out there are the talkers that talk the talk but don't walk the walk? Let's see. Link in the description. I'll say what I usually do. You take care of your loved ones if you've got a backbone and you're up for the job. Otherwise, get the hell out of Dodge. As always, bye for now.